Hello, ghosties. You're listening to Not My Ghost.
Not My Problem. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Jen.
And I'm Kristen.
Whether you're a skeptic, a true believer, or somewhere in between, join us for a journey into the unknown.
Because remember, when it comes to the paranormal, it may not be our problem.
But it's certainly someone's problem.
Hi, everyone. We have a super special guest here with us today.
We certainly do.
It's me. I'm the special guest.
She's the special guest. This is Kristen, who I know you have all heard me talk about. She is my other bestie.
Yay.
And she came into town for my birthday celebration.
Happy birthday, Jen!
Yay! Even though this episode's coming out like a month after my birthday, it's cool.
We had the best time last night.
We really did.
Yeah, we had so much fun celebrating. I wish you guys could have been there because, wow, it was awesome.
It was a great time. We posted some pictures on our social media. So go back to January 9th, 10th. I don't know what day it is.
I don't know what day it is either. Go back to January 11th.
There you go. I don't
10th.
know.
It was the 10th. We don't know.
We don't know. We're losing track. We're all a little hungover from last night.
I was going to say, that's how great of a night it was.
We don't know what day it is.
Not at all.
But we are here recording our Valentine's Day episode.
We are.
So this episode comes out the week of Valentine's Day.
How perfect. I love love. And I love these girls so much. It's really great to be here and be a special guest on the podcast with them.
We'll see how much you love love after this episode.
Oh, gosh.
And you are our first special guest.
Yes.
What an
the very
honor.
first.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. It's so exciting.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I'd like to welcome everybody to our scripted, unscripted banter part of the podcast.
You're in our scripted, unscripted banter, Kristen.
Oh my gosh. The pressure is on.
It's on. So much pressure.
Words are so hard.
So I have a question for you ladies.
Okay.
However, I do have a caveat to yours.
Mine?
Both of yours.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. So my question is, what animal would you choose as a sidekick and why? However, since you both have service dogs, it cannot be a dog.
Damn it.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Now, when we say sidekick, are we thinking like we're superheroes and they're our sidekick?
Just through life.
Just through life.
Here, you can pick any animal, and that animal will not harm you, and it will stay loyal to you.
Okay, so the animal will do whatever we want it to do.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm picking a gorilla.
Okay, why?
Because he's loyal to me. He won't hurt people I tell him not to hurt. But if
Mhm.
somebody messes with me or my family, he will fuck them up.
You know, I bet a gorilla would give really good hugs too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great gorilla hugs.
Okay, okay.
Okay, Kristen?
Can I pick a dragon?
Sure.
I didn't know we could go mythical here.
Why not?
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
sure, if the sky's the limit.
It's our
then
podcast. There's
Absolutely.
no rules.
Let me fly in it.
You're
okay,
going-
great. I would like a dragon as my sidekick
Okay.
because, yeah, I feel like similar to Kelly,
Mhm.
it's a very loyal animal.
Mhm.
And if I needed protection, got it. If I wanted to fly, got it.
Yeah.
I could go anywhere.
Do
and
anything.
Do anything.
You're going all House of Dragon on us?
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, I was initially thinking a big bird, so I could fly, but then you said dragon, so now I'm going to steal your answer and say dragon as
Whoa.
well, because I don't know if there's a big enough bird in existence that could hold me and fly with me.
Pterodactyl.
That's true. But they're not as fun as dragons.
Yeah, I think
they don't
dragons have more
breathe fire.
personality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, considering none of us has ever ridden a dragon or a pterodactyl, I don't know how we could know that, but
I've seen How to Train a Dragon.
And I have seen
That counts.
I have seen Game of Thrones and House of Dragon. So
I've
Yeah.
seen none of those.
okay, well,
I would love a toothless, honestly. Please.
I love it.
Alrighty, so today we are talking about cursed love.
Oh.
So as I was researching for this episode, I was looking for stories about cursed Valentine's Day gifts.
Okay.
And a lot of it that you find are folklore. And they have very similar elements to it, some of these stories.
Mm-hmm.
And you wonder how all of this got started, because they're different, but then there's pieces of it that's the same. So did one event happen that then spread like wildfire, and then the versions changed just a little bit over time in different areas?
Mm.
Or are there really that many cursed items out there?
Yeah, probably a little bit of both.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a good point.
Love is in the air. Or
Yay.
is it?
Oh.
Valentine's Day is supposed to be a time of chocolate, roses, and romantic gestures. But what happens when those tokens of affection come with something extra? A chilling curse, a restless spirit, or a story that sends shivers down your spine? In this episode, we're diving into the dark side of Valentine's Day. The eerie legends of cursed gifts that ruined more than just relationships. From haunted lockets to chocolates that carry a sinister bite, we'll uncover the stories of romantic gestures gone horribly wrong. So light a candle, grab your chocolates. Just make sure they're not bleeding, and join us as we explore the eerie and unsettling world of cursed Valentine's Day gifts.
I'm so excited.
Oh, yeah, this sounds like a good one.
Yes. Okay, but first, we have random facts.
Yay, facts.
About Valentine's Day. So we have some fun facts.
Okay.
Do it.
The little cherub with a bow and arrow, known as Cupid, has origins in Roman mythology. Cupid is actually the Roman god of love, known as Eros in Greek mythology, who could make people fall in love with a single shot of his arrow.
Can he come over to me? Because I need some love.
Yeah, where's he at right now?
I know.
The first Valentine ever written was done in prison.
No way.
Wow.
The earliest known Valentine was sent in 1415 by Charles, Duke of Orleans, to his wife while he was imprisoned in the Tower of London.
Oh, wow.
His love poem survives today and is housed in the British Library.
Get out. I want to go see it.
I love that.
I have that poem
Ooh.
here.
Yes.
However, it was written in a different language and then
Okay.
translated, so sometimes things can get a little lost in
Okay,
translation.
yeah. Let's hear it.
Understandable.
So this is My Very Gentle Valentine, written by Charles D. Orleans.
Okay.
My very gentle Valentine, alas, for me, you were born too soon, and I was born too late for you. May God forgive my jailer, who has kept me from you this entire year. I am sick without your love, my dear, my very gentle Valentine. Now, it sounds like Charles was a pedophile.
No, it sounds the opposite. Because he was born
Too late.
Right.
yeah, or too late, and she was born too soon. So
Right,
it sounds like Charles is younger than his wife.
That's interesting.
Very
Wow.
Mhm.
That wasn't quite the poem I was envisioning.
No, me neither.
There was some negativity in there.
I don't think that he thought he was starting a holiday of love, however, when
Probably
he wrote
not.
this. He
Probably
was
not.
just writing a poem.
And I can get the negativity. He was in prison
Correct.
at the Tower of London, so it wasn't like a first class prison either.
Yeah, but he's writing to his wife, whom he loves. So I don't know. I was expecting more. I was expecting more
More love.
Love, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know, just more negative than I was anticipating.
How would we rewrite that poem in modern day speak?
Yeah, that would take some time.
It would.
It would.
So we are back. We took a brief pause to throw this poem into ChatGPT and asked it to make it more modern.
The prompt was, rewrite this poem in Gen Z slang.
Perfect. Go ahead, Kelly.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Ayo, my sweet Valentine. For real though, you're out of my timeline. You pulled up too early. I showed up too late. Low key blamed the universe for this messed up fate. No cap, I'm mad at the ones keeping me locked, 'cause I've been stuck all year, love blocked. I'm down bad without you, my bae. My OG gentle Valentine, always slay.
Yes, queen.
That's amazing.
I love every second of that.
Yeah.
So much better than
So
the
much
original.
better.
Yes.
So much better. Thank you, ChatGPT.
Hey, yo.
They threw love in there.
They did.
I felt it.
I felt that
See?
one.
Yeah.
Charles, you should have used ChatGPT to help you out.
In the year 1415.
From the Tower of London.
Okay, so we are all animal lovers, so I thought I would throw this one in here. According to the National Retail Federation, millions of people give Valentine's Day gifts to their pets.
Oh.
In 2023, pet lovers spent an estimated $1.9 billion on Valentine's Day presents for their furry friends.
I
Really?
absolutely have a furry Valentine, and I definitely celebrate the holiday with my dog.
I don't.
Not gonna lie.
That's weird. I've never done it. It's weird that I've never done it. It's not weird that you do it.
I'm feeling
used
judged.
to-
No,
I'm just kidding.
I'm judging myself
No, I used
for
to
not
get-
doing it.
I used to get Boogie those little frosty paws.
Yeah,
Valentine's Day.
yeah,
Yeah.
just like a special little treat. Sometimes I've gotten her the special Valentine's Day toys that they come out with.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, I've never done it. That's so weird of me.
This will have to be your first year.
Ellie, will you be my Valentine?
She says, no, Mom.
She's asleep. And she's mad at me because I left her at her mom house yesterday when we went out.
Yeah,
So she's a little mad at me.
she'll be fine.
She will.
Are you ready for some scary facts
I
about
am.
Valentine's Day?
Are you ready, Kristen?
No. And just so you guys know, like spooky is spooky for me.
Yeah.
So I get scared very easily. But I love this. I'm here for the journey. So let's do some diving.
Let's do
Scary
it.
facts.
On February 14th, 1929, 7 men associated with Bugs Moran's gang were lined up and gunned down in a Chicago garage by Al Capone's gang. Many dressed as police officers. The violent and grisly scene became one of the most infamous events in American organized crime history, forever linking Valentine's Day with its bloodshed, and it is known as the St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
Okay.
Wow.
I didn't realize Al Capone was involved in that.
I did not either.
He's involved in a lot of like paranormal type stuff.
We should do a whole
Interesting.
episode about Al
Just
Capone.
Al Capone.
Yeah.
We should.
Valentine's Day has some dark origins.
Shocker.
So does love.
Yeah. Truth.
The holiday has murky and macabre roots. Many believe it evolved from Lupercalia, a pagan Roman festival held in mid-February. During Lupercalia, priests would sacrifice animals and smear their blood on women to ensure fertility
Gross.
and conduct bizarre matchmaking rituals. Doesn't sound too romantic.
It doesn't. But I do have to say that most holidays are taken from pagan traditions. So
Correct.
that's not surprising.
You know, that's how they found their romantic partners back then. Nowadays, you know, we have Tinder and Hinge, and that's definitely like its own little massacre in and of itself.
Yeah.
Not
That's
gonna
true.
lie.
That's true. A lot of emotional bloodshed.
It is. It truly is.
Honestly, I might take being smeared with animal blood over being on the dating apps, if I'm being real.
You know, I was gonna ask, what would you prefer?
Yeah.
I'm going to go animal blood. Sorry.
Yeah, right.
Dating
right.
apps suck.
They
I met-
do.
I met my husband before dating apps existed.
Did he
so-
smear animal blood on you?
He did not.
Okay.
He did not.
That's good.
Saint Valentine, for whom the day is named, was allegedly beheaded on February 14th in the year 269 AD.
Wow.
69. Nice.
Yeah.
Ha.
I see what you did there.
Some legends say he performed secret marriages for young couples against the emperor's wishes,
Oh.
sealing his grim fate. The romantic symbolism of his martyrdom. That came much later. All right, so our first story we're going to talk about is the haunted locket.
Okay. I love me a good locket.
Yes. Some gifts are unforgettable, symbols of love that last forever. But what if forever means something more sinister?
Ooh.
What if love never dies because it won't let go?
This speaks to me.
This is the story of a haunted locket, a Valentine's Day gift that carried more than affection. It carried a curse.
Ooh,
Plot
curses.
twist.
It's the early 1900s, a time of whispered promises and handwritten love letters. A young man named Edward is hopelessly in love with Eleanor,
Ellie!
a woman as beautiful as she is kind. He wants to give her a Valentine's Day gift that would capture the depth of his feelings, not a ring. No, that felt too ordinary. Instead, Edward finds a locket.
Okay, go Edward, trying to think outside the box.
Absolutely.
But this isn't just any locket. He spots it in the window of a tiny, decrepit shop, tucked away in an alley. The kind of place you'd walk past without ever noticing, unless it wanted you to.
So he's like pulling a Harry
Mhm.
Potter?
Yeah.
Where like you can't
Mhm.
see the leaky cauldron unless you know it's there. That type of
Sounds
thing.
like it.
It was meant for him to see it.
Yeah. The air is damp and the smell of mildew is mingling with something metallic, kind of
Okay.
like blood. The shopkeeper, a frail old woman with a voice that rasped like the wind through dead leaves, hands Edward the locket. It's special, she says, her eyes glinting, a symbol of eternal love. Edward buys it, enchanted by the locket's intricate design, a heart-shaped pendant with delicate engravings. But there's something unsettling about it. He can't quite put his finger on it. When he gives it to Eleanor, she's thrilled.
I bet she is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She puts it on immediately and swears she'll never take it off. But that night, as the locket rests against her skin, the nightmare begins.
Oh.
Spooky.
Eleanor dreams of a woman standing in a darkened room, her face obscured, her body trembling with sobs. Slowly, the woman lifts her hands to her neck, clawing and pulling, trying to tear something off. But no matter how hard she pulls, it won't budge. Eleanor wakes up gasping, drenched in sweat. At first, she brushes it off. Just a bad dream, right? But then the whispers start.
Oh no.
Soft at first, almost imperceivable, but unmistakably there. Words she can't understand, spoken in a voice that sounds wet, like it's coming from waterlogged lungs.
Wow. What a description.
Yes.
I don't think I would be able to put my finger on that sound.
No, I'd have to hear. Sounds. How do words sound wet?
That's a good
great
question.
Yeah.
She tells Edward, but he doesn't believe her. Of course not.
Of course not.
She's crazy.
She's
Time
absolutely.
to lock her up in an asylum.
Do it.
Oh,
Send her
gosh.
away.
Until one night when he hears it too. Low, mournful whispers coming from the direction of the locket.
Did he also think the word sounded wet?
Does not say.
Okay.
Desperate for answers, they return to the shop, only to find it abandoned. Dust covers every surface, and the air feels thick,
That is not a good sign.
like it's pressing against their skin.
Ugh.
They finally track down a neighbor who tells them the shopkeeper had died weeks before Edward even bought the locket.
Shut up. No way.
The neighbor, an old man with sunken eyes,
Mhm.
tells them the locket belonged to a widow, a woman whose husband died tragically just days after their wedding. Consumed by grief, the widow wore the locket every day, praying it would keep her connected to him.
Well, I think it did.
But over time, her sorrow twisted into something darker.
It's usually how it works with cursed objects.
Yeah. The legend says she cursed the locket with her dying breath, vowing that no one would ever separate her from the love she lost, and anyone who dared to wear it would feel her torment and her wrath.
Why was she not buried with it?
I thought that was weird too. Some people are just so angry. They're like, I'm going to curse this thing and just fuck some people up with it.
Yeah. Or maybe they should just had like a greedy family member that said, this is expensive. I'm not burying her with this. I'm going to go sell it.
Maybe took it off right before she was buried.
Yeah.
By now, Eleanor is terrified. She can't sleep. She feels phantom hands brushing her neck, icy to the touch.
No, I'm out.
Definitely not.
No. The locket, once a token of love, feels heavier every day, like it's sinking into her skin, pulling her towards something she can't escape.
Why is she still wearing it?
Honestly, I cannot get that
She's
question
not
out of my
always
head.
wearing it.
Why does she still have it? I would have rented a boat. I guess you didn't rent boats back then. I would have got on my rowboat and rowed out into the middle of the ocean, the deepest part, and I would have dropped it.
No, I would have gone to her grave.
The deepest part of the ocean in a rowboat.
Uh-huh.
You would have Titanic that shit.
I would have Titanic that shit off of a rowboat.
That's amazing.
Y'all are crazy. I just would have gone back to the grave and been like, here, this is yours. This belongs to you. Just gonna lay right on top of your tombstone right here just for you.
Well, that is a very interesting observation, Kristen.
Oh, do tell, Kelly.
Do tell.
Go on.
Edward and Eleanor decided to break the curse. Guided by the widow's story, they visit her grave late at night, the moon hidden behind thick clouds. With shaking hands, they dig a shallow hole and place the locket inside.
Great, no notes.
The moment they cover it with dirt, the whispers stop. The air grows still, and then they hear it. A sigh. Not from either one of them, but from beneath the ground.
Ooh.
The locket is said to still exist, resurfacing every so often in antique shops and estate sales.
So do not ever buy a locket from an antique shop or an estate sale.
Specifically a heart-shaped locket.
Yeah. Don't do it.
Each time the new owner experiences the same horrors, the whispers, the nightmares, and the ghostly hands.
Who dug it out of her grave?
Well, this is way back when, and they just dug a shallow little
Yeah,
hole.
but like who
to
even
put it
knew
in.
to go look there?
Well, just the earth gets
I guess you're
animals
right.
and,
That's
you
true.
know.
Yeah, washed away.
Somebody, I mean, I have been to old abandoned cemeteries where we live, and once we found a bone, a human bone.
Oh, wow.
That had come up to the surface.
Did
Could
you-
be animals.
Did you have to report it?
We contacted people to make
Okay.
sure that it was taken care of. However they took care of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It wasn't my...
Because it could have been a new bone. You could have helped solve a murder, Kelly, and you
Oh my
don't even
gosh.
know.
Can you imagine?
Someone could have buried a body in a Actually, that's a brilliant idea.
It is a great place to hide a body.
It is, because if the cadaver dogs are coming, they're just going to think they're not going to ever search a cemetery because it's filled with dead bodies.
Correct.
Jeez, I just came up with how to murder somebody.
Well, technically, it still has a scent to it, right? The bones.
Yeah.
Right, but if you bury it in like a newer grave where an other body like just got buried.
Yeah, but if they're scented dogs, then...
But if it's in a cemetery, every single grave, they're going to know there's somebody dead there.
Yes, they know that there's bones there, but again, like what I'm saying is like we have certain...
Oh, I don't think that's what they do with cadaver dogs. You're
Mhm.
thinking more search and rescue.
Yeah, they just
Oh.
want a cadaver dog to say,
There's-
is there a dead body on this property?
Yes,
And
that's
the
what-
dogs will
okay.
sniff around the property, and they will sit down, and they can detect bones or a dead body that died hundreds of years
Yeah.
ago.
Okay.
They're
Yeah.
just detected to smell like human decay or bones.
And they always
I
have
gotcha.
more than one dog, 2 or 3 dogs, and they only send one dog out at a time. The other dogs cannot see the dog that's out, and they see if that dog marks the same spot every time. Jason Halls and Steve,
Mm-hmm.
they had a show called Ghost Nation, and they were helping a family.
Oh, nice.
And they brought cadaver dogs out, and 3 separate cadaver dogs marked the exact same spot.
Yeah.
And the police would not help them.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
that's
so weird.
insane.
Wow.
Well, if you ever find yourself drawn to a beautiful antique locket, take a good look at it, because love is eternal. But sometimes so is the curse that comes with it. Amen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't buy jewelry from antique sales or
I have
stores.
some jewelry from antique.
I don't know. Jewelry just seems so personal to me. It just seems like you're asking for a curse.
Oh my gosh. I got 2 pieces of jewelry from an antique store, and like 3 weeks later, when Nick and I drove by it, it was closed. Do you think they were dead?
They might be.
When we bought it?
Oh my
You might have cursed.
gosh,
When did you buy
Kelly.
them? Was it how?
This
recent?
was like 3 years ago.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because if you tell me it happened like right before the haunting started happening in your
No.
house, I'd be blaming the cursed jewelry.
No.
Okay.
It's been quite a while.
Maybe it was dormant for a while.
It really could be anything, but the fact that our patron Katrona picked up on the name Ellen, and literally that's the name of my doll.
Yeah, that is.
And I have gotten
spot on.
Ellen on the ghost box.
Yeah.
And then we have a weird EVP that we're not quite sure what it says.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll put that out.
Yeah, we should.
We'll put that out one day. All right. Our next story is The Roses That Never Die.
Ooh,
Oh boy.
I want some of those.
So you're going to see, like I said, similarities in these stories. Roses are the ultimate symbol of love, passion, and romance. But what if I told you there's a kind of rose that never wilts,
I want that.
never fades, and never dies? Sounds magical, right?
It does.
But here's the thing.
Damn it, there's always a thing.
Sometimes eternal beauty comes at a terrible price. This is the story of the roses that never die. And spoiler alert, they might just outlive you.
Cool.
This sounds like a Beauty and the Beast rose.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm in.
I don't know much Disney. I don't know a lot of Disney stories.
It's a magical rose, and
It was a cursed rose.
yes,
And when all of its petals
fell off.
The beast was cursed because he was rude to a witch who came to his door in the rain. And she cursed the entire kingdom and
the castle. Its employees.
And made him a beast and made all of the workers at the castle into inanimate objects, but they were still alive. And as soon as the rose lost its last petal, they were all going to be stuck that way forever, unless the beast learned to love.
He could get somebody to love
him. That's right.
Yeah.
All I know about Beauty and Beast is there's a beast, and there's a beauty, and there's books, and for some reason a teapot. That's all I know.
Oh, we love Mrs. Potts and her
Mrs.
son
Potts
Chip.
and Chip.
Yes.
Little Chip.
Our story begins with a man named Daniel, a hopeless romantic. Daniel had been in love with Claire for years, and on Valentine's Day, he decided to make a grand gesture. He wanted to give her something unforgettable, something that screamed forever.
I love a good grand gesture.
Me too.
Yeah.
While wandering through his small town, he stumbled upon a flower shop he had never seen before. The windows were foggy.
It's always a shop they've never seen before.
Right.
And that looks really weird and suspicious.
The display dimly lit, but inside, something caught his eye. A bouquet of blood-red roses that seemed to glow under the dim light. The florist, an older man, with a peculiar, almost too wide smile,
Is he dead?
assured Daniel that these roses were special. They will never wilt, the florist said. Perfect for a love that will never fade. Daniel was sold. He paid a hefty price for the bouquet, but he didn't care. It was worth it to see the look on Claire's face.
What a good guy.
Yeah. And sure enough, when Claire saw the roses, she was amazed. The color was richer than any flower she had ever seen, and their petals were impossibly soft. She placed them in a vase on her kitchen table, promising Daniel they'd remind her of him every day.
That's so sweet.
So sweet.
But the roses weren't just beautiful. They were alive.
Okay, that's weird.
The first sign came...
Oh, I guess that's not weird. Flowers are
Yeah,
alive.
why are we adding emphasis to
What do we mean by alive here?
Yeah,
Of course they
that's
are.
the suspicious part.
Well, once you cut them, I don't think that... How alive are they?
They're
Do they
still alive.
They're still
Yeah,
alive,
it's when
yeah.
they start wilting that they're
dead.
dying. Yeah, because they don't have their roots to keep them going.
The first sign came the next morning. Claire noticed a faint red stain on the table beneath the vase. At first, she thought it was water mixed with food dye. But when she touched it, the liquid was thick and sticky,
No.
like blood.
Mm-mm.
No, thank you.
The next night, Claire woke to a soft rustling sound, like leaves brushing against each other. She turned on the light and froze. The roses, still sitting in the vase, seemed to move, their stems curling ever so slightly towards her.
Ew, creepy.
No.
She
just-
laughed.
I'm picturing like a long finger-like
Yeah.
stem rose just coming towards you.
She laughed it off, telling herself it was just her imagination. But the rustling continued, louder each night until it sounded like whispers, low, guttural whispers that came from the roses. So very similar with the locket.
And the
The
whispers.
whispers.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. When she finally confronted Daniel, he admitted the flowers were strange, but he didn't believe they were dangerous. After all, what harm could a bouquet of roses do?
True.
That's when Claire decided to throw them out. She grabbed the bouquet, planning to toss it in the trash, but as soon as she touched the stems, she felt a sharp sting. Looking down, she saw that the thorns had drawn blood, deep crimson beads pooling on her fingertips. And then the roses moved. This time, she was sure of it.
I was going to say, up until they moved, that's not unusual. You should probably not grab roses by the stems.
Right.
because
They
you
are known to have thorns.
True.
There's even a song about it.
There is.
Every rose has its thorn.
And there's a book about it. A Court of Thorns and Roses.
The stems withered like snakes, the petals turning black at the edges, as if they were burning from the inside out. She dropped the bouquet. As it hit the ground, the whispers turned into screams.
Oh, no.
Terrified, Claire and Daniel rushed to the florist, but when they arrived, the shop was gone.
Shocking.
The building was empty, boarded up, and looked like it hadn't been occupied in years. A neighbor told him the shop had burned down decades ago. Desperate for answers, they did some digging and discovered the truth. The roses were said to be cursed, created by a heartbroken witch. It's always the witches, man.
Wow, why are they always blaming me?
Bad name, bad rep.
Gosh.
Yeah. So it was created by a heartbroken witch who wanted her love's promise of forever to be literal. She enchanted the flowers to stay beautiful forever, but their beauty came at the cost of the owner's life force.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Claire and Daniel tried to get rid of the roses, but no matter where they threw them, into the trash, into the fire, or even into a river,
The ocean? In a
the
rowboat?
middle of the ocean, they always reappeared, pristine and perfect, back in the vase on Claire's kitchen table.
Weird.
Mm-mm.
Over the next few weeks, Claire grew weaker and paler. It was as if the roses were draining her. One morning, Daniel found her collapsed on the floor,
Oh, no.
her skin cold to the touch.
Claire. No.
Mm.
The roses, still in their vase, seemed brighter than ever, their petals gleaming like fresh blood. In a panic, Daniel destroyed the roses, tearing them apart with his bare hands. But as the last petal crumbled, he heard it. A voice, soft but unmistakable, whispering, "Forever means forever."
No.
To this day, the roses that never die are said to resurface, always finding their way into the hands of someone seeking eternal love. But beware, because forever might be more than you bargained for.
Okay, so don't buy roses at a shady looking flower shop.
It would be a weird, well, I guess it was a flower shop.
Yeah, but it looked shady.
Yeah.
He knew it. He knew when he went in there.
This also makes me think of Little Shop of Horrors, so I just keep
Ooh.
envisioning
Yeah.
the like I can't even think of the name of the plant.
Seymour is the guy.
Is the guy.
I don't remember what the name of the plant is though.
And it's like, feed me.
I did that. I was stage manager for that in high school.
It's such
That
a
musical.
such a good musical.
It was so funny. So the two people that played Seymour and Audrey got married in real life.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Aw. Is it forever?
I haven't seen.
Be careful with forever.
Careful with forever. I think they are based on what I see on Facebook. I think they have 3 kids.
That's so cute.
Yeah, it was. That's when they fell in love.
Love, love.
Love, love.
We have 2 more stories.
Okay.
Our next one is another folklore.
Okay.
And then the last one is something that we know actually exists.
Okay.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about the black diamond ring. As with all of these stories, forever isn't always romantic.
Apparently.
Sometimes it's haunting.
I'm learning that.
The story of the black diamond ring, a Valentine's Day proposal that started with love and ended with something far darker.
I'm going to give a piece of advice to anybody listening who might want to propose. Do not do it on Valentine's Day. I'm totally against that.
Why?
It needs to be its own special day. I would not want to share my engagement anniversary with a holiday. I don't want to be proposed to on my birthday, Valentine's Day, Christmas.
We don't really celebrate Valentine's Day.
I mean, no, me neither.
I mean, I did get Boogie his Frosty Paws.
Oh.
But Nick shows me he loves me every damn day.
Yeah.
I don't
Which you
need,
should.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need that on.
I 100%
day.
would not want it on Valentine's Day because I think Valentine's Day is just a commercialized holiday to sell cards and candy.
And engagement rings, apparently.
Apparently.
Black diamond.
I do like black diamonds.
Yeah.
So any future person listening that might be dating me, black diamonds are pretty cool.
Right. So let's learn about this black diamond.
Yeah.
Eric was madly in love with his girlfriend, Lila. And after 3 years together, he was ready to pop the question. The only problem, Eric didn't have much money, but he wanted the ring to be as special as Lila was.
Oh, how sweet, Eric.
One day, while browsing a pawn shop, Eric spotted it. A black diamond ring that sparkled like it held the night sky. It wasn't flashy, but it was beautiful and unique, just like her. The pawn shop owner hesitated before selling it, muttering something about the ring's previous owner. But Eric didn't care. He was in love, and this was the ring.
Oh.
That Valentine's Day, Eric proposed to Lila, and she said yes. She adored the ring, marveling at how its dark stone seemed to shimmer with an almost unnatural depth. But the happiness didn't last long.
Oh, no.
It never does.
Nope. The first sign that something was wrong came the very next night. It's always that night or the very next day.
Right.
When it starts.
It happens quick. It's not a slow burn.
Right. That's why I'm thinking that these folklores started from one object,
Yeah.
these stories, and then they spread. Lila woke up gasping, convinced someone had been standing over her bed. Sleep paralysis.
Probably.
Eric dismissed it as a bad dream, but Lila was certain she could feel the weight of eyes on her even after she woke up.
Okay.
The weight of eyes. That's an interesting phrase.
That is.
It's almost like a fly in the ointment.
Oh my gosh. That is the truth. And let me tell you, I do not want to see anybody's eyes staring over me as I'm waking up. Like that's
Nope.
Not a fun thought. Not a fan. I'll take a fly in the ointment over that, please.
Same.
Yeah. So after this, there were the shadows. At first, they were small, barely noticeable, a flicker in the corner of her vision. But soon, they grew bolder. She would see them dart across the room, their shapes just human enough to send chills down her spine. Eric started noticing things too. The air around Lila seemed colder when she wore the ring. And sometimes, when he looked at it in the light, he swore he could see something moving inside the stone. Desperate for answers, the couple returned to the pawn shop. The owner was there and it wasn't closed down.
Oh my gosh.
The owner, clearly uneasy, admitted that the ring had a dark history. It was stolen decades ago from a burial site, taken from the grave of a woman who was buried with it after her tragic and untimely death.
I feel like you need to disclose that information.
You would think.
It's just grave robbers here. Like, you should be told that before you purchase a ring. Yeah. I'd be pretty pissed if it was me.
The woman, it was said, had been deeply in love, but her fiancé had betrayed her. On her wedding day,
Oh,
she
no.
cursed the ring, vowing that no one would ever wear it without feeling the same heartbreak and betrayal she had endured. That's weird to me.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
that.
Because if I'm like, this is terrible heartbreak for me, I don't want another living soul. I don't want my
No.
worst enemy to feel that.
That's not where I went. Went with she's still getting married to him, even though he betrayed her.
That's
because
also
it was
true.
her fiance, and on her wedding day she cursed the ring, so she still went through with the marriage.
Maybe she found out on her wedding day that he betrayed her.
Like they had already just gotten married
They
and then
just
she
gotten
find out.
married.
Yeah.
It does. It's not specific. What you find it in these folklore stories, there's a
Yeah.
lack of those types of details.
Some gaps.
I also, if I was her, would have cursed the guy who betrayed me, not the ring.
Yeah,
Right.
that would make more
Mhm.
sense.
Eric and Lila were terrified, but they didn't believe the curse. Not really. That changed when Lila began hearing whispers.
It's always the whispers.
Late at night, as she lay in bed, she could hear them. Soft, angry, unintelligible. The whispers seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere all at once.
Mm.
And then there were the bruises.
Oh,
Yikes.
One morning, Lila woke up with dark bruises around her wrist, as if someone grabbed her in her sleep. She swore she hadn't done it to herself.
Kinky.
And Eric believed her. Because Eric knows damn well where those bruises came from. He decided it was time to get rid of the ring.
Probably a good idea.
But when they tried to take it off, they couldn't. No matter how hard they pulled, the ring wouldn't budge.
You got to get some butter out.
That's right. Lila said it felt like the ring was a part of her, as if it was fused to her skin.
Oh.
The couple sought help from a local spiritualist who confirmed their fears. The ring was cursed, bound to the spirit of the woman who had died with it. The spiritualist warned them that the spirit wouldn't rest until the ring was returned to its rightful place, the grave it had been stolen from.
Okay.
So one cold, rainy night, Eric and Lila found themselves in the cemetery where the woman was buried.
This sounds familiar.
It does.
It does.
See, it's
Do they-
all similar.
Did they dig a shallow hole?
They dug through the wet earth until they reached the coffin. So they went all the way down.
They dug deep.
They're going to put it back on her finger.
Yes, they are.
When they placed the ring inside, the air around them seemed to shift. Heavier, colder. And then, for just a moment, they heard it. A sob, low and mournful,
Oh.
followed by a faint whisper. Thank you.
Okay.
What?
The couple left the cemetery, hoping their nightmare was over. But even now, they're not sure. Every so often, Lila swears she feels a chill around her left hand, like phantom fingers brushing against her skin.
Interesting.
And as for the ring, no one knows for sure if it stayed in the grave. Some say it's still out there, waiting for its next victim.
Oh.
Interesting.
Okay, so now we are going to talk about something we know exists, the Hope Diamond.
Awesome.
Let's do it.
Yes, I have seen it.
You have?
It's in DC, isn't it?
It's in DC.
I've seen it too.
Wow.
When I
It's
was a
real.
kid. Yeah,
Where-
it actually exists.
Where in DC is it?
I think it was Natural History Museum,
Yeah, it's
wasn't
one
it?
of the museums. All I know is I went on a field trip. I went into 2 different museums when I was in like the 5th grade, and I saw it.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one it was in.
I'm sure I've seen it too, because I've definitely been.
Yeah,
to
it's
this
like in a
Smithsonian
glass
museum.
in case, like no one can touch it.
Okay.
So, speaking of diamonds,
Yeah.
diamonds are a girl's best friend, or so the saying goes. But what if a diamond was more than just a jewel? What if it carried with it centuries of misfortune, tragedy, and death?
I'll pass.
So we're going to dive into the chilling history of one of the most infamous gems in the world, the Hope Diamond. A brilliant deep blue stone valued at over $250 million. It's one of the most spectacular diamonds ever discovered. But its beauty hides a sinister story, a legacy of curses that has haunted its owners for centuries. The Hope Diamond story begins in India, where legend has it the gem was stolen from the eye of a statue of a Hindu deity, possibly a representation of the goddess Sita or the god Vishnu.
Okay.
The diamond was believed to be sacred, and removing it was said to have cursed anyone who came into contact with it. The first recorded owner of the diamond was a French merchant, Jean-Baptiste Trevennier, in the 17th century. Trevennier brought the diamond to Europe, where it dazzled royalty and collectors alike. But shortly after acquiring the stone, Trevennier was reportedly mauled to death by a pack of wild dogs.
What?
Coincidence? Maybe, but this is just the beginning.
Yeah. Wow.
The diamond's next famous owner was King Louis XIII of France. He purchased the stone and had it cut into a stunning heart shape, dubbing it the French blue. Louis and his court adored the diamond until tragedy struck. Louis's successor, King Louis XIV, and Queen Marie Antoinette
Let them eat cake.
inherited the gem. And we all know what happened to them.
Yeah.
They lost their heads, quite literally, during the French Revolution.
Literally.
The diamond vanished during the chaos, believed to have been stolen along with other crown jewels. For decades, the diamond disappeared from history, only to resurface in 1812 in the hands of a London diamond merchant. By this time, it had been recut and renamed the Hope Diamond.
Not a lot of hope with that one.
No.
The curse didn't end there. Over the next century, the Hope Diamond passed through the hands of wealthy owners, each of whom seemed to suffer terrible misfortunes. Henry Philip Hope, the diamond's namesake, owned it in the early 19th century. His family's fortune dwindled, leaving them in financial ruin.
That sucks.
Evelyn Walsh McLean, a wealthy American socialite, acquired the diamond in the early 1900s. She believed the diamonds brought good luck and even let her dog wear the Hope Diamond as a collar.
What?
That's crazy.
That is insane.
That's wow.
Please don't tell me anything bad happened to the puppy dog.
The puppy.
But her life was anything but fortunate. Her son died in a tragic car accident.
But not the dog.
Her daughter took her own life, and her husband was institutionalized for insanity.
But the dog's okay.
And nothing saying that anything happened to the good boy.
Good boy. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry. The people,
so much for love.
The people could die, but not the good boy or
wow.
the girl.
Evelyn's story cemented the Hope Diamond's reputation as a harbinger of doom. By the time her estate sold the gem to pay off debts, people believed the curse was real. In 1958, the Hope Diamond found its final home. Harry Winston, a prominent jeweler, donated the diamond to the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C., hoping to break the curse by making it a part of a public collection. Since then, the Smithsonian has kept the Hope Diamond on display, surrounded by bulletproof glass. It's one of the museum's most popular exhibits, drawing millions of visitors each year. But here's the chilling part. Even though the diamond has been relatively safe since its arrival at the Smithsonian, some still whisper about the curse. Museum staff have reported strange occurrences near the display. The lights flickering, sudden chills in the air, and even a faint, eerie humming sound coming from the stone. So what do you think? Is the curse of the Hope Diamond just a series of unfortunate coincidences, or is there something truly supernatural about this stone?
I think it's a cursed object.
Okay.
Kristen?
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, based off of the history that we just learned, I think that there's definitely a curse going on there.
It seems like it, but I also always think when we did an episode on Robert the Doll, like people that were disrespectful to Robert, they would leave and all these bad things would happen. But also bad things happen to people all the time.
All the time.
It's really kind of hard to say.
Where it starts to get more compelling is when multiple people are reporting misfortune after interacting with the
with
object.
that one
Yeah.
object.
That's where it starts to get more compelling.
That's
But
where
it
I'm more
also,
sold on it.
devil's advocate here, it could also just be all in your mind.
Correct.
Now the question is, when
True.
did people start believing that the Hope Diamond was cursed? Because if you just had all of this misfortune that kept happening and people weren't really saying it was cursed, then I'm more likely to believe. But if like after the first person that had it, somebody said, nope, this is cursed, and then they gave it away, and then that's in their head and they're thinking it's cursed, so then they're manifesting all this bad stuff to happen to them.
So people began thinking that it was cursed with Louis the 13th of France.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So love is supposed to be magical, eternal, and beautiful. But as we've learned tonight, sometimes love comes with strings attached. Dark, twisted strings that bind more than just hearts. From roses that never die to cursed diamonds and haunted heirlooms. These stories remind us that even the most romantic gestures can have a sinister side. They make us question, how far would you go for love? What would you risk? And when does devotion become danger? As we close this chapter on cursed love, take a moment to look around. That locket, that ring, that bouquet of flowers sitting on your dresser, are they really as innocent as they seem?
Well, I don't really have any of those things, so
Okay.
I'm good.
And that brings us to the end of this episode about cursed love.
If you loved what you heard, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Your support helps us to bring all these stories to more listeners.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at notmyghostpodcast and on Facebook at Not My Ghost, Not My Problem. We post updates, photos, and more.
Yes, we do. If you want even more ghostly content, consider joining our Patreon. We have some fantastic perks for our supporters. And if you've ever had a spine-tingling paranormal encounter, share your story with us at notmyghostpodcast@gmail.com, and you probably will hear it featured on a future episode.
Thank you for joining us on this cursed exploration of the haunting gifts of Valentine's Day. Remember, as you receive your Valentine's Day gifts, keep this in mind.
If it's not your curse,
It still might be your problem.
until next time, stay spooky.
And stay skeptical.